In collaboration between Oulu University of Applied Sciences and Southern Utah University, this is the 6th video in a series that examines what do effective teachers do. This 6th video takes a very broad look at how a student approaches learning. The intent of this video is to jumpstart discussions and reflective thinking about what it means to be an effective teacher. The video does not present all of the research regarding educational and cognitive psychology. The desired outcome of the video is that you will seek further learning opportunities through professional journals within professional learning communities, in dialogue with faculties and teacher preparation programs, and your peers. A secondary purpose of this video is to demonstrate that classroom teachers can produce videos using an iPad or tablet and appropriate apps. A list of apps used to produce this video is provided at the conclusion of the video. Being an effective teacher is not only what you do, but what you understand. You know and can teach your discipline, content, or subject, and you value human learning. You know how to engage and challenge students. You believe teaching matters and that your students can learn. The phrase approaches to learning means what students do when they go about learning and why they do it that way. In 1976, Swedish researchers Martin and Seljord demonstrated that students learn not what teachers think they should learn, but what they, the student, perceives the task demands of them. Some students used surface approach. These students saw a task as requiring specific answers to questions, so they learned bits and pieces. Other students used a deep approach. These students wanted to understand, so they focused on themes and main ideas. Ellen Langer's work on mindfulness found that if students said to themselves, "This could be a solution to a problem," they were far more likely to imagine multiple solutions than the student who simply says, "This is the solution." A third approach has been added, and that is the strategic approach. These students are driven to have recognition and the highest grades. These are extrinsically motivated behaviors. This little video clip demonstrates some behaviors of a surface learner. Surface learners are often driven by fear and desire to just get the task done. These learners memorize facts, which is the easiest approach to survival. Surface learners often learn just enough to pass and then forget. These students will do the bare minimum to get by. Perhaps you are a surface learner on a spelling words test or a multiplication facts test. This next video clip demonstrates some behaviors of a strategic learner. Strategic learners are often driven by recognition and grades. These learners are not risk takers. They're procedural. They would say that there is only one way to solve a problem. Strategic learners could be considered routine experts. Strategic learners are not adaptive learners. Strategic learners are not persistent, and they often give up if they think the task too difficult or one where they will not be the best in class? This video clip demonstrates some behaviors of a deep learner. Deep learners are driven to understand and gain knowledge and skills. These learners are persistent and see mistakes as opportunities. There is no guarantee they'll quickly reach a deep achievement. This learning takes time and intentionality to learning. There is a habit of understanding based on a schema. These students often ask the "what if I" questions. Deep learners are the future, creating new ideas. They can ask the correct questions, leading to finding the solutions for tomorrow's challenges. Teachers can create the natural critical learning environment where deep learning can take place. It must have cognitive dissonance. The learning must stretch the student's mind. The learner must care that their mental model is being questioned, care enough to be persistent in their learning. Feedback from the teacher should be task-oriented, not person-oriented. Avoid the "oh, you're such a smart little girl." Instead ask, "tell me about how you did this." Researchers Edward Deci and Richard Ryan concluded successful learning occurs when there is a purpose to engage in learning. The student believes they control their learning and that they can succeed. This all ties back to how you plan for instruction, the learning environment you create, and how you assess student learning process and progress. Did you begin at the end and plan backwards? Have you established what your students should know, be able to do, and believe about their learning? Are your students' learning outcomes clear and measurable? Have you established how you will know when your students achieve the intended learning outcomes? Have you created a natural critical thinking learning environment? Are your students challenged yet supported in their learning? Do you reflect on your practice? Do you use assessment data to modify instruction to ensure all students may learn?